Hello, this is Kaiwa viewers. It's Morgan here, and today I have received a list of questions from the This is Kaiwa staff, and I would like to answer them. So let's get started. Where are you from? I am from McKinney, Texas, which is a small suburb city outside of Dallas, Texas. It's north of Dallas. I don't typically tell people I'm from McKinney because not many people know where that's at. I just originally say I'm from Dallas. Do you have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have an older brother and I have an older sister. My brother is 2 years older than me and my sister is 4 years older than me. So I am the baby in the family. What were you like as a kid? As a child, I was very close to my mom. I was super cuddly and snuggly and I just wanted to be held by my mom 24/7. I was very outgoing and I just like to talk to random strangers, which is what I was told from my mom. I grew up in a lot of sports. I pretty much tried out every kind of sport that you could do, and what stuck with me was gymnastics, dance, and tumbling. I mainly was in gymnastics for my whole life, and then I recently switched over to dance, but I do love both of them. What did you like to do for fun as a kid? A fun memory that I have with my family as a child, we used to live on a golf course and there were lots of hills in the golf course, and so when it rained it would fill up and all the frogs would come out. We would like to catch bullfrogs and just play around in those little ponds on the golf course. What sports do you like? Right now, I'm super invested in dance because my background from dance, and also I just love watching dance because it's very emotional to me and creative. I also love watching gymnastics, which I also used to do gymnastics, but I think they're both great sports, and maybe I'm biased because I was a part of them and that's why I love them so much. What are 3 songs that you like? My number 1 favorite song right now is Hallucinogenics by Matt Mason. My number 2 is Over My Head by Echo Smith. And my number 3 would have to be Elastic Heart by Sia. I have always listened to all 3 of these songs. They're not new. They're maybe all kind of 2000s songs, but I still listen to them every day. What are your strengths? I will list my top 3 that I believe are my strengths. I believe the first one is my kindness because kindness takes you so far in life. My second strength would probably be I get along with everybody. I don't really ever have any issues with people around me just because I'm super chill. And then my third one would probably be my loyalty. I'm very loyal to everybody, especially the people I love. What are your weaknesses? There's one weakness of mine that I can think of, and it is that I get really hangry. I get angry when I'm hungry, and so we call it hangry in America. And if I don't get food, my whole personality changes, and then I just become angry and I don't know. What do people say about you? 2 things that I've heard. One is that I'm very kind, which goes along with some of the last questions, that I think kindness is just one of the most important things in life. And another one would be my stubbornness. I'm a very stubborn person, just in general, I guess. What foods do you like? My favorite food is sushi, and I have loved sushi my entire life. So I think I'd have to go with seafood as a whole being my favorite kind of food. But I do eat really everything. I'm not a huge picky eater. What foods do you dislike? The only food that I don't like is either pizza or... This is a tough question. I'm not very picky, so I think I would eat pizza if I'm really hungry, but I don't love pizza. What food are you good at cooking? The only thing that I can really cook, well, technically bake, are cookies, cake, cupcakes. I'm more of a dessert person when it comes to cooking, but I could cook mac and cheese. I have cooked mac and cheese a couple times. What is your favorite movie? My favorite movie is called The Croods. It's a cartoon about this caveman family that has to leave their home and chase the sun. What drama do you like and what is it about? My favorite drama TV series is called The Bachelor, and it's about a specific individual who has other individuals there to find the love of their life, and there's a lot of drama that goes on because there's a bunch of women or a bunch of men who are fighting for one person. What is your favorite TV show and what is it about? My favorite TV show is called The 100, and it is about a group of criminals who live in space, and they decide to come down to the Earth to see if it is livable because of radiation. What actor do you like? My favorite actor is Adam Sandler. He is so hilarious. He's in a lot of different movies and TV shows, so he is seen around all over, and many people know who he is in America. Who is your favorite actress? My favorite actress is Maria Avgeropoulos. She is one of the main roles in my favorite TV series, The 100. Is there an app you really like and what does it do? My favorite app right now is somewhat new. It's called Be Real, and you pretty much take a picture of yourself and then whatever is in front of you when the timer goes off, and you can react to each other's Be Reals. What news are you most interested in at the moment? Sadly, I heard some news that there was a mass shooting in Florida yesterday, which was Memorial Day, and it breaks my heart. I wanted to know a little more about it, so that's currently the only thing that I'm interested in. What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Typically, I will wake up and go to the gym with my dad at 5:30 a.m., which is very early, because I typically have school that morning, but when I am on summer break, I sleep in a little longer and still most of the time go to the gym. If not, I'll wake up and just eat breakfast and hang out. What do you always do before you go to bed at night? Before I go to bed, I will do my skincare, and most of the time I'll take a shower and just clean myself. But I love doing skincare and doing a hair routine, so I'll just use my oils and lotions. What do you do on your days off? Now that it's summer, I am not currently in school and I'm only working on the weekends. So on my days off, I like to go sit at the pool and just be outside because I love the sun. Do you have any bad habits? Yes, I have a bad habit of making my room super messy right after I clean it. And another bad habit I have is staying on my phone way too late at night. I get sucked into TikTok, and I'm on a cycle of repeating watching TikTok every night. What was the last thing you cracked up laughing at? The last thing I recall laughing at was I was petting my cat, and there's a certain spot that when you pet, my cat will go and chatter his teeth over and over and over, and it was just really funny to watch. When was the last time you felt moved? I was listening to my grandma give a speech on Mother's Day, and it really moved me and hit me in the heart, and I was just crying listening to her speak. It was just very beautiful. What was the most expensive thing you've bought recently? The most expensive thing I have gotten recently were probably my earrings that I used when I got my ears pierced. It was about $100, maybe a little over $100. But I usually don't spend that much in one sitting. What thing do you want most right now? I would die to have a boat right now because all of my friends are on the lake on their boats with their family. So I would love to have a boat of my own with my family so that we can go enjoy a lake day all summer. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? If I had $1 million, I'm a very generous person, so I would donate a lot of it and give a lot to people who are needing money, and I would spend the rest of it on clothing and shoes because I just love shopping. So I'd definitely go on a shopping spree. What is something you want to do at least once in your life? I am wanting to go skydiving. I want to jump out of a plane 30,000 feet in the air. That's something that I am going to be doing soon because it's been on my mind, and my dad actually said he would do it with me. Who is someone that you respect? I respect everybody around me, every person, because it's important to respect them whether you agree with them or disagree with them, but mostly my parents because they do so much for me. Who is somebody you would like to meet, and what do they do? I would love to meet Machine Gun Kelly because I am in love with him. He is a celebrity, and I would just die to have the chance to meet him. He is a singer. He's got a lot of popular songs that are on today's hits radio. What do you do when you're with your friends? When I'm with my friends, we typically go out and we'll go party, or we will go out to dinner, but we typically like to do things out and about with lots of people. What did you do last Christmas? Last Christmas, we stayed home for the first time, and we decided to open gifts at home, and then we went out to dinner that night, I believe. And typically we will go on vacation somewhere, but it was kind of nice to stay home for once. What do you want to do when you get old? When I get old, I would just like to retire and travel the world. I would like to travel the world young as well, but I won't have much to do when I'm old and retired, so that'll be a great time to do it. What do you want people to say about you? I would genuinely like people to just know that I am kind and loyal. I guess those are just the two main things for me. What is New York like? New York is definitely a lot busier than most states. It is full of people in one area, so it gets really crowded. It's a little dirty in New York City, just kind of depending on what location you're at. But I mean, overall, one word I would use to describe it is crowded. What country do you want to travel to? I would love to travel to Canada. I love the weather there. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I have a couple friends that live in Canada that I have never met, and I would love to meet them. Is there anywhere in America that you would like to live other than Texas, and why? Yes, I would love to live in Florida because I love the beach, and in Texas, the beaches aren't that great, and I'm very far from them. So to be in Florida by all of the super nice beaches would be amazing. I love everybody in Florida. I love the people there. I love the culture. I love everything about it. Do you want to live in New York or not? Why is that? I don't necessarily want to live in New York, but I do love traveling to New York. It's just not for me. It's pretty crowded, and I don't necessarily like it that crowded, but I do love visiting New York. Are there any electronics you want now? I don't think so. I'm pretty satisfied with what I have right now. I have a little tablet, I have a computer, and a cell phone, and I believe that's all I need. Are you saving money? Do you think Americans are saving money? I am trying my best to save money. I do have a savings account and I save as much as I possibly can, but I also do like to spend money because I love shopping. And I believe that most Americans try to save money, but it's so hard right now with this day and age that the economy is kind of collapsing a little bit, And most people try to save, and some people successfully save money and some don't. What is the first thing you think about when you hear the word Japan? The first thing that I think about is the food in Japan. I love Japanese food, and in Texas, Japanese restaurants are definitely one of my favorites. I also think about street traffic because I don't necessarily understand traffic laws, and I've seen a lot of videos about like all the crazy traffic because it gets so busy. What would you like to try if you came to Japan? I'm honestly open to anything food-wise, and I would like to just visit a bunch of the most popular areas in Japan and just experience the Japanese culture.
What do you do when you're with your friends? We usually grab a bite to eat and we catch up and talk about all the things that we missed when we weren't together. What did you do last Christmas? During Christmas, we get a Christmas tree and we put it up and decorate it. And then on Christmas Day, when everyone wakes up in the morning, we open the gifts that were under the tree. And after that, we go to my dad's house, since my dad and mom are separated, and we open presents at my dad's house then and kind of have a second Christmas there. What do you want to do when you get old? I would love to have good health when I get old because being healthy is super important. And if I do have good health, I would love to continue to travel the world and see every country. What do you want people to say about you? I would love people to think that I was open-minded, friendly, kind, positive. Kind of all those things, and I want them to see my adventures and feel inspired by them. What's Chicago like? Chicago can be interesting. The weather can get very, very cold, and I hate the cold and the snow. And it's very windy in Chicago, but it can also be a beautiful place, and the spring, summer, and fall are usually amazing and colorful, and lots of people. People are friendly here too, so it's a great city. What country do you want to travel to and why? A country that's on the top of my list has to be Italy because I love Italian food. I love Italian food. So, and it's a beautiful country. Beautiful, beautiful country. So I really, really want to go there, but I'm just saving up for the right time to go. Is there anywhere in America other than Chicago that you'd like to live and why? Maybe. I think about moving out of America, maybe to Europe, but if I was to continue living in America and not in Chicago, I might go to North Carolina or South Carolina because they have nice weather where it's not too cold in the winters, not too hot in the summers. It's a little bit milder, so that's pretty nice. Do you want to try living in New York or not? Why is that? I would say no. I am personally not a fan of New York. It is a cool city to visit for a week or two, but for me, I am not a city person in general, so I don't like New York. The people aren't as friendly as Chicago there. The streets are dirtier because there's no alleyways to put the trash, so the trash goes out in the street, versus in Chicago there's alleys, so it's not as stinky. And I just like the way Chicago looks a lot more than I like the way New York looks. So I think I'll stick with Chicago. What do you think are America's good points? I would say that America is always pushing boundaries. We're at a point where everyone's so comfortable that everyone's always trying to do something new. They're innovating, they're working on things, and the country really does try to support the people that live here with all kinds of programs and stuff there are homeless people and we do have an issue with drugs, but at the same time, we are trying our best to remedy that with food banks and SNAP points and things to help benefit people who are in bad situations. What do you think are America's bad points? I would say that we are very divided since we do run off a two-party system. We've got the Democrats and we've got the Republicans, and it seems like nowadays everyone has to pick a side and fight against each other, and I really dislike that as well. Are there electronics you want now? I am looking into buying a MacBook right now, usually to do my editing and social media stuff on, because it's super easy to use when you have an iPhone. Are you saving money? Do you think many Americans save money? Yes, I save money all the time, every day. Every time I get a paycheck, I put money away into my savings and into an investment for my future. I think it's super important, and I don't think enough Americans are saving their money because people aren't being educated on how to save and how to do these things. It's not taught in schools, and so you have to reach out to those things yourself to be able to learn about that, unless someone in your life teaches them to you. So, yes, save your money. It's important. What kind of men are popular with women in America? That's a hard question to answer because America is a very diverse place, and so people's and women's interests are very diverse, and what one person likes doesn't mean everybody likes. But I would say that women like men who are into fitness, that look fit overall, that are good looking, have a nice jawline, symmetrical facial features, nice hair. Those are some kind of basic things, I guess. What was your most fun memory of high school? I would have to say it was going to homecoming. I loved getting all dressed up in those fancy dresses and doing makeup and hair and going to the dance. It was so much fun. What's the first thing you think of when you think of the word Japan? Sushi. And like anime cats. Yeah. What would you like to try if you came to Japan? Well, I don't want to say sushi, but I kind of do want to try the sushi, preferably without the fish, so maybe some vegetarian sushi. But I guess I also want to try some like really authentic Japanese food because I don't even know what that would exactly be like. So I think that'd be really cool to try. What news are you most interested in the moment? The conflict between Israel and Palestine. There is some major conflict going on, and a lot of bombings going on at the moment, so there's a lot going on with that. Is there an app that you really like, and what does it do? Well, recently I've been playing an app called Merge Mansion, and it is a game where you merge items that look the same to create bigger items, and you try to complete your tasks. So I've been playing that in my free time. What did you do yesterday, and can you give your daily schedule? So yesterday I had a photo shoot in the morning. So I had to wake up early and iron all my clothes for the photo shoot. So that was at about 8 a.m. And at about 9 I started on my makeup and hair, and at about 9:30 I was heading to my shoot, and I picked up a drink at Panera. It was a strawberry lemonade. And my shoot went for 2 hours. It was great. And then I came home, and my brother was working on fixing my computer because I'm having some issues with the Wi-Fi. So for about 3 hours, we were trying to work on fixing my new computer that I just built. Then I had a friend come over, and we made a bunch of food and we all sat around the TV and watched the NASCAR races that were going on in Chicago. And that's how I ended my night. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Usually when I wake up in the morning, if I don't have something like a photo shoot going on, I will get up and I will go on a run. What do you always do before you go to bed at night? At night, I make sure my dog gets her medicine. I take my medicine, I do my skincare routine, and I put my hair into these little curlers so that it looks nice when I wake up the next morning. What do you do on your days off? Usually I spend them with my friends, with my family. I love to play video games, so you'll find me playing video games a lot of times as well. Do you have any bad habits? Yes, I used to bite my nails a lot. I stopped biting them, but sometimes it's still a bad habit and I can't help myself and I kind of nibble them down a little bit. But I like to try to keep them long because they look really nice and they're really strong. What was the last thing you cracked up laughing at? I would have to say that was probably yesterday when we were watching the NASCAR races. It was me, my friend, and my two brothers sitting around the TV watching, and my two brothers got into a major argument about something that made no sense and didn't matter whatsoever. And I was just laughing because that's just what it's like having brothers. What has been fun in your life lately? Well, I just got back from a trip to Mexico. It was amazing. We went to 3 different areas and I loved it. It was a beautiful place and it was great to get some time away. When was the last time you felt moved? It would have had to been when I was in Mexico on my trip about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were visiting a really poor area and there were a lot of indigenous people and they were living on the streets. They would sell stuff on the streets all day and then you'd see children and stuff sleeping there at night. And it really makes me appreciate what I have and where I've grown up and the fact that we don't have to work that hard just to put food in our belly. And also it made me want to go help people and volunteer. So my next trip I'm planning on taking some type of like mission trip, maybe not exactly that, but something to help volunteer and really help people in those situations out. What was the most expensive thing you bought recently? It was definitely my new computer. I just built a computer for myself for work, for gaming, for school, and it was expensive. And you can kind of see it back here. You can see it glowing. But I love it. It was totally worth it. What thing do you want most right now? Right now I am trying to sell my current laptop so that I can buy a MacBook instead because they are lighter and easier to travel around with. So definitely want a MacBook right now. If you had $1 million, what would you do? This is always such a hard question because it's hypothetical, but I think I would definitely put a lot of money in savings, investing to basically grow my money. I would probably buy a business for myself to be able to kind of start a life. I would help my family out, and I would use the rest to probably also take a volunteer trip and go somewhere and help people out. What is something you want to do at least once in your life? I think it would have to be bungee jumping because I went skydiving already when I was 18, but I'm still terrified to go bungee jumping, but I definitely know I want to do it someday. Who is someone that you respect? I can't really think of someone in particular that I feel a ton of respect for, but I guess currently I've been feeling a lot of respect for people who are immigrants and are coming to America and starting a new life here, feel a lot of respect for being able to do that and to be able to start over in that way, and sometimes even learn a whole new language. I think that's amazing, and people are so strong for doing that. Who is someone that you'd like to meet, and what do they do? I think I would like to meet a travel vlogger and just talk to them and see how they started their journey, and because they record videos, they make travel videos, and they go over the world, and I think that's so cool. So I would love to know how they did it, and basically to get some advice from them. What are your interests? I have a lot of interests. I like to do a lot of things. Some of my main ones would have to be playing video games. I love animals. I have 5 pets at home, 3 dogs, 2 cats. Recently I renovated one of my pieces of furniture and created a wood-like pattern on it. So I completely changed the look of that. That was super fun. Recently I also built a computer, which is something I've never done before, but that was super fun too. And I've also become a plant mom, and I've adopted 5 different plants. So let's hope I can keep them alive.
So the first question is, do you have any siblings? And the answer to that is yes, I do have siblings. I have 7 siblings, and I love them all very much. I have an older sister, an older brother, and then there's me, and then I have 2, it's twins after that, and then also another sister, and then another brother, and then another sister. So there's 6 girls and 2 boys. So that house was a lot of drama growing up. It was really fun, and I love all my siblings very much. Next question is, what did you want to be when you were a child? I wanted to be a vet because I love animals and I want to take care of things. So I was like, this is perfect, I'm gonna be a vet. But turns out I didn't actually want to be a vet. There's a lot that goes into that as a child I didn't know. So I didn't want to be a vet, but then in high school, I started watching Grey's Anatomy, and I was so obsessed with it. And so I decided that I wanted to be a surgeon, and I was serious about it. I was looking up medical schools. I was really going to do it. But I decided that was way too much work and way too much money. School here is not cheap. So that was a no-go as well. But it was fun to dream. Well, I had the chance. So next question is, what kinds of sports or other activities did you do as a kid? I did all kinds of sports. I had a lot of energy, so I did soccer, all as a child. I would do it every summer, and then I did it in middle school and in high school. And then I also did basketball as a child when I was in elementary school, and I did basketball in middle school and halfway through high school. And I also ran track, but I only did that for 2 years because I thought I didn't like running. And other activities, I would say as a child, the only other activities I was doing was I was in this group in school called Quest, and that's where the kids who have higher academic levels go. And we would do these things called Mind Amazes every year, and it's this big competition, and the kids get in teams, and you get there and there's a challenge, and you have to find the solution, and there's a challenge you can prepare for, and there's a challenge you can't prepare for, and you're competing against each other to see who can come up with the most creative and clever solution to the challenge. And one of the years my team got first place, but that was really fun. Next question is, what were you like as a kid, and what did you like to do for fun as a kid? Well, I've kind of already talked about this, but as a kid, I was very high energy, very hyper, but also very sweet, very loving, not shy at all, super outgoing. My hair was super, super blonde. It was practically white blonde when I was little, and What did I do for fun as a kid? All kinds of things. When I was younger, I grew up in Alaska, so I spent a lot of my time outside. I had a huge imagination, so me and my siblings, we would go play in the woods and make forts and pretend we were usually different animals, and we would like make our nests, make our homes, and it was really fun, and I loved growing up that way. We also lived on a lake, so I would do a lot of swimming. I love to swim. Next question is, were you in any clubs in junior high school? Which ones? Junior high school, does that mean middle school? If so, no, I was not in any clubs in middle school. I actually went to a private Christian school when I was in middle school, and I didn't love it there, so I didn't really feel like joining any clubs, but that's fine. What was your life like in high school, and what is your best memory from high school? For my last 2 years of high school, I was also working, so I was a busy bee doing both school and working. But also, my last 2 years of high school, I decided I didn't like high school. And there was this program at my school called Running Start. And in this program, you are a high school student, but you can be enrolled in college classes and take college classes at a community college nearby. And those also count as high school credits. So for 2 years, my last 2 years of high school, I was in college and working. But I loved it. I loved Running Start. It was great. I graduated high school and had an associate's degree at the same time, which really helped me get ahead when I did go to my eventual 4-year college. So I liked it. And I think that was probably like my not greatest moment in high school, but my best part of high school, the fact that Running Start was there for me. And a lot of other kids that went to school did it too, so it wasn't like it was just me and a bunch of adults. Like I had people to talk with and hang out with and study together, because a lot of us were taking the same classes. So yeah. What was your life like in college? What is your best memory from college? I loved college. College is very fun. I had a job all throughout college, but it was only a part-time one, so it was pretty chill, and I was working on campus, which I loved because they understand like you have finals to study for and homework, and so it was really great. They were super accommodating, and I also met cool friends who also went to college with me there, so that was great. I went to University of Washington, which is a very academically rigorous school, and I love a good challenge, so I enjoyed that about UW. And also, I liked that UW had so many different things you could do. They had like a place where you could go rent kayaks and you could kayak, and I loved walking everywhere. UW is a great school if you love to walk, and I love to walk. It's very beautiful. There's a lot of hills, but I was in great shape. So I really enjoyed college. And my best memory from college, let me think. It probably has to be, actually I was just thinking about this last night because there was a thunderstorm last night, but it wasn't my best memory from college. I have so many good ones, it's hard to like pick a good, best one. But this memory I was thinking about last night, because there was a thunderstorm last night. I was in Suzzaloo Library, which you can look it up if you haven't seen it before, but it kind of looks like it's a Harry Potter-esque library. It's very, like, you just look it up. So I'm sitting in there studying, and there's a thunderstorm happening outside, and you can see the lightning, and the thunder's crashing and booming. And it was just the perfect moment, and it was so, because it's quiet in there, nobody can talk, so it was quiet besides the thunder and lightning. It was just such a beautiful moment, and I love that. Next question is, do you have any special skills or abilities? Not really any special skills or abilities. I'm very creative. I like to do things. I like to crochet, I like to draw, I like to cook, and I consider those special abilities. Next question is, what do you do when you're with your friends? When I'm with my friends, we mostly just like to kick it. Sometimes we'll play Switch together, sometimes we'll watch a movie. I like to go on walks with my friends, or hikes, or explore new places, maybe go downtown, look around a little, see if we can find anything cool. I like to go to museums. That's pretty much it. Oh, I like to go out to eat with my friends. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What did you do last Christmas? Last Christmas was actually the worst Christmas of my life. I was flying from Seattle to Alaska because I was supposed to spend Christmas in Alaska with my dad's side of the family. And it was me and my sister. We were traveling together, and there was like a weather storm warning. Actually, our flight got canceled, and so then we had to get on a different flight that was the day after, which we're like, this is fine, we're still gonna make it in time, because it was the 24th. But the flight had a layover, but that was the only flight that would get us there on time. So we went to that flight, we got on that flight, and it dropped us off in Juneau, Alaska, which is the most boring place in the world. No offense, Juneau, there's nothing to do there. So we're in Juneau on Christmas Eve, and we stayed in a hotel, and nothing was open because it was Christmas, and it was just so sad and not super fun. And we finally made it the next day, and we had fun once we got there, but worst Christmas ever. Next question is, what do you want to do when you're old? I want to retire in a cottage in the woods. I want to retire there, and I want to garden, and I want to be out in nature, and I want to crochet and read books and drink tea, probably have some animals. Like, I just want to have a simple, fulfilling little life. Next question. What's Seattle like? Seattle is a very interesting place. I love Seattle so much. Seattle in the winter is very, very rainy and cold, and everyone is grouchy, but we have coffee, so it's okay. It keeps us going. Seattle in the summer is a different place. It's hustling, it's bustling, the sun's out, it's hot, it's beautiful. Everyone's out exploring, walking around. There's so many cool parks, there's so many cool things to see. And I really love Seattle, and I would love to live there again. I lived there when I was in college, but I would love to go back and live there again. Another thing about Seattle, actually, they have really good food. There's a lot of delicious food in Seattle. There's a lot of Asian food in Seattle because a lot of people... Next question is, what country do you want to travel to and why? Right now, I really want to go to Thailand because it is beautiful, and I really want to eat authentic Thai food. I love curry. Next question is, what are your strengths? I would say one of my biggest strengths is my perseverance, or my work ethic maybe. I am a very hard worker, and I do not like to give up. I will get things done no matter what it takes. Right now I have 2 jobs, and I'm training for a half marathon, so like I have a lot going on, but I'm still keeping it balanced. I'm still getting it done. I'm also very caring and compassionate. I care about people. I care about things. I want everyone to be happy. I want the world to be healthy and lovely. I like to find the positive things in life. What are my weaknesses? Probably I have anxiety, so sometimes I do tend to worry about things I don't need to worry about, or I get worked up about things that I shouldn't be worked up about. Next question is, what do you plan to do this spring vacation? Spring actually already passed, and I didn't go anywhere because I was training at one of my jobs to be a server. But this summer I'm going to Mexico, so that should be really fun. I'm super excited. I'm going with my aunt and uncle and my cousins,
and I've been with them before and we had fun last time, so I know we're gonna have fun this time. What part-time jobs have you had? I've had many jobs and most of them are part-time, so I'll just start from the beginning. My first job I got when I was in high school, and that was at Dairy Queen. And that job was so much work. Working in fast food, it's hot back there, you're working hard. I was doing the ice cream, but even so, like, it's still hot. And hard work, but I met a lot of cool people and we still had fun, even though some days we really didn't have fun. So it was a cool job. Then I graduated from high school, went to college, and my first year at college, I actually worked off campus at this kitchen store called Williams Sonoma, and that job was okay. I didn't really like that job because I had to like sell things to people, like really expensive kitchen stuff, and I didn't even know what it like. I was just a college freshman, you know, I wasn't in my dorm room chefing it up, so I'm selling all these things that I really don't have any idea about. But so I only did that for a year, and then after that, for my last 2 years of college, because it only took me 3 years, I worked at the student athlete dining hall on campus, which was down by the Montlake Cut, which is a body of water, and it has the most beautiful view there, and I met so many cool people, and I love my coworkers, and I love my boss. That was a really great job. And then after that, I went to Alaska for a year, and that's when I started working in elementary schools. I worked in an elementary school as a paraprofessional, and I did that there for a year, and then I was not loving being in Alaska anymore, too cold in the winter, so I moved back to Washington, and now I'm here working in the school as a paraprofessional, and I also have a job in a restaurant. I was working as a host for about 6 or 7 months, and then I got promoted to a server, so I trained, and now I'm serving. And that's all the jobs I've had. Next question is, how often do you eat out? And it really depends. Probably once a week, if you don't count the food I eat at my restaurant job, which I don't count that because I just don't. If you count that, then probably 3 or 4 times a week. Next question is, what food are you good at cooking? I love to cook, and I can cook anything if you give me a recipe. I will make it happen. I will figure it out. But some of my favorite things that I like to cook is I like to make these banh mi rice bowls. I also really like to grill, if I'm being honest. I like grilling. I think it's really fun. I have a Traeger, and I like making salmon. I love like a pesto salmon with some grilled veggies. Delicious. The next question is, are you careful about what you eat? And I wouldn't say I'm careful about what I eat, but I do think it's important to fuel your body in the right way so that it can take you places and do things and be healthy. So I definitely make sure I'm eating a balanced diet. I make sure I'm eating enough food, but I don't really eat a lot of processed food because there's not a whole lot of nutritional value. So the next question is, what movie do you like and what is it about? I'm just going to tell you about the last movie I saw in theaters, which was the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I actually really liked that movie. I am a little bit of a nerd, and I have played a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons in my life, and so I was pretty excited to see the movie, and it was really funny, really well thought out. It looked amazing, made me laugh. I'm pretty sure I cried. It was great, and I would watch it again. The next question is, what drama do you like? What is it about? I don't actually watch a lot of dramas. I don't watch a lot of TV in general, but the last drama, well, actually, there's one thing I do watch a lot of, and it is called Below Deck Down Under, And it is a show where it follows the cast of a crew on a yacht in Australia, and it follows them like throughout the charters and everything, all the work they're doing and all the drama they have because they're stuck on a boat together for however long. And there's so much drama. It's so great, and I love it so much. Next question is, do you have any bad habits? I don't. This isn't a bad habit, but it's an annoying habit for some people. Every time I park my car, I put on the parking brake, even if I'm not parked on a hill or whatever. Like, no matter where I park, I'm putting on the parking brake. And it really annoys my mom because every time she gets in my car to drive, she's like, what the heck, why is the parking brake on? And honestly, it's because of her, because when I was learning how to drive, she told me to always put the parking brake on, and so ever since that, I've always done it. But she doesn't even remember telling me to do that, but I do it. So it's a weird habit I have, not necessarily a bad one. I don't think I have really any bad habits. What was the last thing you cracked up laughing at? The last thing I cracked up laughing at was probably at school today. One of our students, he accidentally grabbed my coworker's butt when he was reaching to just like grab his leg or like grab at him. He was trying to get his attention, but he accidentally grabbed my coworker's butt, and it was so funny. But it was just, it cracked me up. I laughed really hard, and yeah. Next question is, what has been fun in your life lately? I would say lately the things that are fun in my life has been training for my half marathon. I've really come to enjoy running, and I look forward to my runs, and it's fun to see like my body get stronger, my endurance build up. So that's been really fun. Next question is, how do you relieve your stress? I relieve my stress by doing yoga. Yoga has changed my life. I do it all the time. It incorporates stretching with deep breathing, which is proven to calm your nervous system, and it's worked so well for me. I also really like drinking tea, and like I keep up with my self-care routine. So all these things to just take care of myself, that's how I relieve my stress. What was the most expensive thing you bought recently? I actually bought it last night when I was in bed. I ordered some prescription Ray-Bans because I'm very blind. I'm actually wearing contacts right now, but I don't usually wear contacts. I wear glasses, and it's really sunny out, and especially because I'm serving on a patio outside, because sometimes I work inside, but sometimes we're outside. I really need sunglasses with my prescription in them because my contacts don't work as well as my glasses. So anyways, I spent like $350 on them, but they're super cute, and I can't wait till they get here. What thing do you want most right now? What do I want most right now? I want something to eat. I'm actually starving right now. I haven't eaten all day because I was so busy. And after this, I'm probably gonna make spam musubi. Well, really, I just like to make spam and rice and eggs and eat that. So it's gonna be delicious, and I can't wait for that. I want it really bad. Next question is, if I had $1 million, what would I do? First, I would probably give a little bit of money to all my siblings because I love them all and they deserve it. So I would give a little bit to all my siblings, and then I would probably buy a cottage in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and I would go live there and plant a garden. Maybe it's on a lake so I can swim, and I would like get some ducks, maybe some chickens. It would be perfect. Next question is, what is something you want to do at least once in your life? I want to go rock climbing. Like, I want to climb cliffs, and specifically I want to go to Yosemite and climb El Capitan. That's a really big aspiration, but if I actually achieved that in my life, I would be so happy because it's so beautiful and so cool, and you have to be so strong and talented to be able to do that. What actor do you like? I think my favorite actor is probably Chris Pratt. No, not Chris Pratt. Chris Pine. Wrong Chris. Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine is so funny. I think he's cute. I don't know why. I just do. I think he's so cute. And I like the movies he's in. I love Star Trek. He was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and he always does a great job. Every time I hear Chris Pine's in a movie, I'm like, let me watch it. Next question is, what actress do you like? I really like Gal Gadot. I think she's so beautiful and a good actor, and I love Wonder Woman. That's the movie with Chris Pine. I love them together, so I think that is what actress I like. The next question is, what YouTuber do you like and what kind of content do they do? My favorite YouTuber is Yoga with Adriene, and she makes yoga videos. I like to do yoga every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to bed. So I'm watching her videos at least twice daily. I also like to do her yoga videos before I go on runs, sometimes after my runs. She has a video for everything. She's super great, super cool, and I love Yoga with Adriene, so follow her. Next question, is there an app that you really like? What does it do? I don't spend a whole lot of time on my phone because I'm a busy bee. I would say the app I use the most is probably TikTok because it's funny. An app that I like, I honestly can't say I have one. Like, I really like the podcast app because I also really like to listen to podcasts. I like Audible because it has audiobooks, but I'm not on my phone a whole lot. Next question is, what news are you most interested in at the moment? I hate the news, if I'm being honest. The news stresses me out because every time I watch the news, it's just something horrible that's going on in the world. So what news am I most interested in at the moment? I'm most interested in good news. I'm tired of the world being all sad and bleak. If I turned on the news and they told me that women all around the world had all their rights, that would be the news I'm interested in. Like, if they turned on the news and told me that South Korea is changing the way that they treat women, great, perfect. Like, that's the news I'm interested in. Next question is, do you have a beauty routine to stay young and beautiful? I do. In the morning, every morning, I wash my face. I use CeraVe salicylic acid cleanser, and then I use Laneige cream toner, cream something. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but Laneige cream toner. I use that, and then I have a moisturizer. I think it's from Belip, but I'm honestly not sure. My AM moisturizer isn't super important. It just needs to have SPF in it. You need to wear SPF if you want to stay young and beautiful. So my AM moisturizer, I'll switch that one around, but always one with SPF in it. And then night, that is where my skincare routine gets more intense because that is always when it should be, because you're going to sleep and your skin will have time to regenerate and be beautiful. So at nighttime, I always take a shower at night and I wash my face, and I use Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant and then also the salicylic acid CeraVe. I mix them together, wash my face for at least 60 seconds. Then I get out the shower and I use, it can be any kind of chemical exfoliant you want. I switch between a lactic acid and I think a glycolic acid, but I get both of those from The Ordinary. You could also use a retinol or something like that. And then after that, I let that sit on my face for a second, soak in. Then I use the Laneige water cream base toner again. Then I use Dermalogica. I can't remember what it's called, but it's their spray thing. I use that one. And then I either use the Laneige water sleeping mask or the Origins Nitamins. No, not Nitamins. The Origins Drink Up Overnight Intensive Mask. I use one of those because you want to use a heavier moisturizer at night so your skin soaks up all that goodness while you're sleeping. And because you don't want to walk around with all that on your face during the day, so you do it at night. Next question is, what do you do on your days off? Well, right now on my days off, I am playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom because it just came out and I love Zelda. I loved Zelda Breath of the Wild. I have played at least 250 hours of that game. So right now I'm just trying to play as much Tears of the Kingdom as I can, which is hard because I'm a very busy girl. I actually don't have that many days off. Next question is, what kind of troubles are on your mind recently? I think on my mind recently, I've had a little insecurity in my abilities to do things. I'm feeling a little tired. I have a marathon coming up this Sunday, or half marathon, and things have been really busy at work, and it's hot outside also, so I just feel very fatigued. So I was feeling insecure in my ability to do all the things I have set up for myself, but I feel confident in myself. I know I can do it, so I just need to push those thoughts to the back of my head, keep going, never give up. Is there anywhere in America other than Seattle and Alaska that you'd like to live, and why? Nowhere specifically, but if I was to live anywhere else in America, it would have to be on the West Coast, so either Washington, Oregon, or California. Because I love the ocean. I wouldn't want to leave the ocean. I have to live on the ocean. I want to be able to go to the beach, hear the waves, and smell the salt water. It's very important to me. I find it healing. Do you want to try living in New York or not? Why is that? My sister and I actually always talk about this, and we do want to try and live in New York, but not forever. We would want to go live there for a summer or maybe a whole year. Well, she probably wants to live there forever, but not me. I just think there's so much cool stuff to see in New York. There's so many cool people. There's so much food. It's the city that never sleeps. And I want to experience so much. I want to experience everything life has to offer. And New York has a lot to experience, so it would just be a cool place to live at. I know there's definitely lots of downsides to living in New York, but it also has a lot to offer, so I just think it would be cool. Next question is, what do you think are America's good points? I think America's good points are the working class people who care about each other. I think you can find the good within communities that are lifting each other up and taking care of each other. For example, I work in elementary school, and some of our students, their house burned down, and the community came together and donated a lot of money for them to buy a new house or rebuild their house, whatever they plan to do. And so that was really cool, and I think there's a lot of good people here. There's a lot of people who care. But for the next question, what do you think are America's bad points? I think the American government is a mess. I think that they put money over the well-being of their citizens. I think that politicians care more about their bank accounts than people, and I can't stand by that. I won't stand by that. I'm a people first person. I love people. People are what make the earth go around, all we have is each other. I mean, we have the whole world, but humans are very social creatures, and I think we're meant to take care of each other and love each other, and I don't think that that's what's happening right now in America, and it makes me sad. Next question is, are there any electronics you want now? Yes, there is. I really want a Kindle. I want a Kindle that's backlit. I had a Kindle, but I lost it, and I'm so sad, and I keep hoping that I'll find it. I keep looking around my house hoping that it's somewhere hiding from me, but I never find it, and that's why I don't buy one, because I'm like, it's somewhere here, but it's not here. It's gone. It has to be gone. Where could it be? I've looked 100 times, and I'm not a messy person. So I really just need to suck it up and buy a new Kindle. Next question is, are you saving money? Do you think many Americans save? I am saving money, and I am saving money only because I have 2 jobs, and it allows me to have extra money to save. Do I think many Americans save? No. I think most Americans can't afford to save because most Americans make minimum wage, and minimum wage isn't enough to survive on. I think it's impossible for a lot of people in America to live a comfortable, stress-free life fiscally. So how can we expect them to save when they're just trying to pay their bills? Next question is, what kind of men are popular with women in America? I mean, I guess I'll just list off general things I think women are attracted to. I would say taller men, stronger, this is a hard question for me because I have a hard time looking at things as a whole, preference is everything. So somebody might think Timothy Chalamet is the cutest boy in the whole wide world, whereas I think he is not. I'm not attracted to him. So I think attraction, it's hard to even place a whole blanket over it because everyone likes something different. Somebody might like skinny boys while other people like big buff guys. Some people might not like buff guys. They might think they look too beefy. So for me, I like a kind man, a compassionate man, someone who is taller than me but and strong but not too muscly. I want him to have a little fluff because I want him to be cuddly. I don't want him to be I'm laying on a rock if we were cuddling or something. But yeah, that's my answer to that question. Sorry, it's a bad answer. Can you tell the difference between Japanese, Korean, and Chinese people? If so, how? Yes, it just kind of depends on how much they are Japanese, Korean, or Chinese, but you can see it in their face. It's a different kind of look. If so, how? I think I can recognize it because one of my sisters is really into K-pop, and also because of K-pop doesn't just have Korean people, there's also Chinese people and Japanese people, and there's also C-pop and J-pop, and I've kind of been introduced to that whole scene because she always wants to show me stuff. And so I think just looking at so many faces and seeing the differences that they have kind of makes it easier to tell. But I don't really try. America is really a mixing pot. A lot of people aren't just one ethnicity, and so I think it's kind of hard here specifically to tell the difference between people because a lot of people are 50% white, 50% Japanese or Korean, or maybe they're mixed with African American people. So it's a melting pot, and it's kind of rude to presume, so I would never be hey, you look Korean. But yeah. What is the first thing you think of when you hear the word Japan? Probably I think of Tokyo, and I also think of sushi. And the next question is, what would you like to try if you came to Japan? And the answer is sushi, and also all of the food. I love Japanese cuisine, and I would love to go there and eat everything. I know I've said this multiple times, but I think the best part about traveling is being able to eat different foods made in the places they came from, and that's what I would do if I go to Japan. Maybe I'll go to Japan and make a video of me eating all the different foods.
So the first question is, where are you from? I am from the United States. I'm from Hawaii, specifically the island of Honolulu. I was born and raised there. I lived there my entire life, and I am now living in San Diego, which is located in California. Do you have any siblings? Yes. I have 7 siblings. So I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers. It's very, very common for families in Hawaii to be very big. So a lot of the families there, you will notice, are huge. What were you like as a kid? That's a good question. Funny thing is, my family says that I was a complete terror as a child. I was a nightmare. I was a very naughty kid. I would lock my sisters out of the house when they try to take me to school. I would hold on to the door of the car for dear life when my mom would try to take me out of the car to get me to go to class. Yeah, I was mostly a terror from all the way up until I was about 2nd grade. After that, I started becoming a better kid, and somehow my mom says I am one of the good kids now. So yeah, I could have ended up worse as an adult, but yeah, as a kid, terror, sadly. What kind of sports or other activities did you do as a kid? So I never really did sports. I wanted to do soccer, and I have tried it, but I'm just not a good runner, so that didn't work out. I guess I wouldn't consider it a sport, but I was a dancer. I did dance classes for a studio, and I also did dance classes for my school program. That was one of the biggest things for me, and I did that since I was in 3rd grade all the way up until 12th grade. And after high school, I, adult things, and so I kind of lost touch with being a dancer, and I do want to get back into that. Okay, next question. What did you like to do for fun as a kid? So growing up in Hawaii, you're kind of limited to things you can do, but I would go to the beach all the time, literally almost every weekend. And hiking is another big thing. That was always fun. You get to see all the pretty views of the ocean. And then dancing, I was always dancing like every other day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just go to the beach and hiking and dancing. All right, next question says, were you in any clubs in middle school? Which ones? I was not in any clubs except for dancing, like I said. Other than that, no clubs. Did you have any part-time jobs when you were a student? If so, what? Yes, I did. So this was sophomore year, which is 10th grade, I took on my first job ever, and it was at Pizza Hut, believe it or not. So I was just the cashier there. I just took orders, and I would sometimes go in the back and help the cooks. They would let me like make a pizza sometimes and like just see what it's like back there, because I actually had a little bit of interest working in the back instead of being a cashier, just because it was a little bit hard like dealing with people. There's a lot of like struggle that comes with working for customer service. People can be very mean and pushy and very impatient, especially when it comes to food. Like, you do not want to mess with angry people who are hungry. Like, So yeah, I worked at Pizza Hut, and that was the only thing. What sports do you like? I'm not really like a big sports person. The only sports that I like, I guess, to watch sometimes would be football or baseball. Everything else, not really into it. But yeah, I really like to watch live professional baseball games. Those are my favorite, and they're so fun to be at. And then even the same thing with football, like the live big professional ones, they're really fun. All right, moving on to the next question, which will be, what are 3 songs that you like? Give the title and artist. Oh, okay, this is a hard question because I feel like my likes and interest in music is just so wide range. I love everything. But if I had to just pick 3, okay, so this is hard. I love the artist named SZA. I'm not sure if you guys know her. She's amazing. My favorite song by her is Open Arms. I just love that song. It makes me feel so good. You guys should listen to it if you don't know it. A second song that I love would be Cover Me Up by Morgan Wallen. So that's a country song. I love Morgan Wallen. He's amazing. And a third song would be, let's see. Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat. That's a very good song too. I like that song. Okay, moving on. What countries have you traveled to? Okay, this is a good one. I've only been to one other country other than where I'm from, and that would be Japan. So I went to Japan, so Asia, and it was the best. It was so cool. I love it there. You guys are amazing, and just everything is so different, and I just really liked learning new things and new ways of doing things. I also like your the little restaurants. It's so cute. I love it. Everything is just so small and I love it. Yeah, and I really want to go back again. All right, next question. What first got you interested in Japan? I think it was mostly the food, because I love Japanese food. And I just always saw videos online of Japan. It was so cool. There's so many cool things to do there. I love the anime scene and the fashion. boba teas, all of that is so amazing. And yeah, I really wanted to go and see what it's all about and all the new experiences. And oh, I also am a big fan of the Studio Ghibli movies. That is my favorite, and I watched probably like all of them already, and I really wanted to go to the Studio Ghibli museum there, but I didn't get a chance to because I didn't know that the tickets fill up really fast. So I need to go back and make sure that I get those tickets far in advance because that's like on my bucket list. All right, where are we? Okay, if you visited Japan again, what would you like to do? So, like I said, I really want to make sure I check out the Studio Ghibli Museum. I also saw the Cup of Noodle Museum. You guys probably think this is funny that I want to do it, but I think that's super cool that you can make your own cup noodle. Like, I want to know how to do that. I think that would be a cool experience. I also want to go to Hokkaido. I just heard that place is very, very beautiful, and I believe during the winter time it's nice, right? And also I want to visit during cherry blossom season because when I went there I had just missed cherry blossom season, and I have always wanted to see cherry blossoms. Like, that's like one of my dreams, and it's probably funny to you guys too because you probably see it all the time, but I have never seen them before, and I just really want to, and I think it's such a pretty flower. And yeah, there's another place, I don't remember what it's called, but you can feed the deers and like be around them or something. I can't think of the name, but I was supposed to go there and I didn't get to. So I really want to do that again too. And then if you guys have any recommendations, please comment below because I will take you up on it. Okay, how often do you eat out? To be honest, I don't eat out too much. I love cooking. I'm a big cooker, and I just think homemade meals are better than anything. So I prefer that over like eating out anytime. So I probably eat out maybe once a week, possibly less. Like, yeah, not that much. I love eating at home.
Do you have any siblings? No, I do not have any siblings. Only child here. What were you like as a kid? What was I like as a kid? I don't know. I guess I was a loner, but I was also very outdoorsy. I really loved just playing outside. I really had a penchant for books and a lot of movies as well. Like, that was my escapism. So yeah, I just kind of lived in my imaginary world most of the time. What kind of sports or other activities did you do as a kid? I used to be a competitive swimmer almost until puberty hit and messed up my hydrodynamics. What else? I don't know. I was never really into any sports per se. We used to do skiing or like ice skating as part of PE classes at school, but I've never really gotten into that. So yeah, and when it comes to just watching sports, it's just always been soccer for me. But I can't play soccer. Like, if life depended on me, I can't. What did you like to do for fun as a kid? As I've already said, I was pretty outdoorsy, and if I was not playing outside, I would be reading books. Books. I was pretty much a nerd, I guess. I was really craving all the information that I can absorb. And movies. I think I fell in love with movies, with Hollywood when I was a little kid. I can't even remember what was the first movie I've watched, but Star Wars. I watched Star Wars on big screen, the second one. Did you have any part-time jobs when you were a student? If so, what? Yes, I did have a few part-time jobs. One of them was remote. I was developing different design elements for various websites because I was kind of self-taught Photoshop expert. I'm kidding, I'm not that good with Photoshop, but good enough to book a few jobs, I guess. And then I was also a private tutor of English and Japanese, believe it or not. What sports do you like? I like soccer, just watching, not playing. Can't play soccer. What are 3 songs you like? This is a tough one, seriously. Pick only 3. Well, I have to go with David Bowie no matter what because, he's my favorite artist of all time. So I would say Ashes to Ashes. I would say Roxy Music, In Every Dream Has a Heartache, and I'm tempted to go with something a little bit more current, so I'll say Måneskin, Honey. I've been listening to that song on repeat a lot. Yeah. What countries have you traveled to? Oosh. Let me see if I can remember everything. It all started with Ukraine. Like my parents and I, we used to go to Ukraine pretty much every year for like 6 years, 7 years straight. I went to Cyprus, I went to Spain, France, Belgium, Italy many times, United Arab Emirates, Japan, United Kingdom, Mexico, Georgia, something else. I feel like I'm forgetting something else, but maybe not. Maybe this will cover it all. Can you tell me which country was the best? Why is that? It's really hard to just select only one country. They're all, I've had great experience everywhere, and Japan was one of the countries that left a huge mark in my heart. Obviously, I had amazing time there. I traveled hitchhiking actually from Tokyo to Nagoya, and from Nagoya to Kyoto and Osaka, and it was a crazy experience, but very rewarding and just fascinating. Helped me see different parts of Japan, meet so many amazing people along the way. I've lived in Japan for about 3 months, I think, so it was great. Paris is just mind-blowingly gorgeous and fantastic. I would love to go back there, like seriously, at any opportunity. And Georgia, I would actually want to say a few words about Georgia because it's one of those countries that is very underrated, but it's absolutely fascinating, unique, and it's probably one of the best places on earth to go for food tourism. Yes, because food in Georgia it's just mind-blowing. It's so good that like you won't be able to look at tomatoes again after you go to Georgia and try Georgian tomatoes. Kid you not. Can you tell me about experiences with culture shock? Can you tell me what country it happened? Well, United States, maybe. I've never seen that amount of homeless people as I've seen in California. Yeah, it's pretty damn shocking. What first got you interested in Japan? I've always been interested in Japanese culture, Japanese language, Japanese traditions ever since I was a little kid. I studied karate. I watched a lot of movies, a lot of anime, listen to Japanese music, and I really wanted to understand the culture better. So I started teaching myself Japanese, and I just feel like from even philosophical standpoint, Japanese mindset, or rather like traditional aspects of Japanese philosophy, Japanese approach to life, and yada yada yada. So I think that was also a big part of me that got me into Japan and everything Japanese. In Japan, what did you do? I ate. I ate a lot of good food. I ate a lot of Japanese food and Italian food. I was really amazed to find that Japanese Italian food is just as good as Italian food. What else? I traveled. As I said before, I hitchhiked. From Tokyo to Nagoya, from Nagoya to Kyoto, and from Kyoto to Osaka. Don't do this, kids. It's probably not safe, but I was a silly little kid, and it was fun, and I did not regret it. And I also, I went to a Japanese language school. I was a ryugakusei for about a month, and then the next 2 months I was just hanging out, having fun, checking out like different shrines and stuff, spending money, my parents' money. If you visited Japan again, what would you like to do? I don't even think I need a specific plan, because Japan is so fun and fascinating that I would definitely find a lot of cool things to do. I would love to finally make it to Nara, because I haven't made it there last time I was in Japan. I would love to spend more time in Kyoto. I would love to go back to Osaka and eat a lot more delicious food. And I would love to make it to Okinawa, because it just looks so, so, so beautiful. And eat a lot of good food. Maybe I will try fugu. Or maybe not, actually. No, I would not try fugu.
What sports do you like? As far as watching sports, I'm not really a typical American in the way of watching sports. I don't really watch any sports. As far as playing sports, I really like tennis. So I do enjoy playing tennis at least once a week. And there's a lot of beautiful places to play. And then I also really like hiking and climbing. What 3 songs do you like? This is a tough one because I love music. Well, right now, I've been on a Cardi B kick. Okay, let's just say Cardi B. I've been listening to her music a lot. I really like her song, I like it, like that. Okay, what else? I really like R&B. So I like this artist, Jay Howell. He has a cool song called Deserve. And let's see what else I like at the moment. I really like that song, Big Energy by Latto and Mariah Carey. So those are 3 songs that I like. They're fun. Okay, where are you from? I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was born in Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii. My parents got divorced, and then I traveled around the world with my mom until the age of 6. That's when we settled in the U.S. again. She got remarried, and that's where she grew up, was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So she wanted us to be around our grandparents growing up, and so I grew up there. Do you have any siblings? Yes, I grew up with 2 sisters on my mom's side, so they're 8 and 12 years younger than me. So I do have 2 sisters on that side that I grew up with, as well as on my dad's side, I have 2 sisters and a brother. What were you like as a kid? Well, I was actually pretty quiet as a kid. I ended up getting more outgoing as I got older, I would say starting in high school. But I was very quiet. The funny part about me was that I enjoyed dancing, and I grew up in my family's dance studio. And whenever I got on stage, I would just light up and be
just such a ham, and people were so surprised because of how reserved I was. But when I got on stage, I was a different person. What are your strengths? Well, I'm a good communicator, and I'm good at expressing myself and helping getting the message across to anybody. What foods do you like? Food, another one of my passions. I absolutely love food. I like a really good pasta. I like meat, so like a really good steak. I love ribeye cut or a ribeye cap. So good. I don't really like cooking steak, so I like to go out for steak, but yeah, pasta, steak, things like that. How often do you eat out? I eat out probably at least once a day, whether it's coffee and a snack, or I rarely go out for dinner though. I would say mostly breakfast or lunch I will go out to eat because I'm at home and I'm just like, I don't want to cook for those meals, but I really enjoy cooking, and I will cook a big dinner for everybody, but I eat out probably once a day at least. Are you careful about what you eat? I actually get this question a lot because I am very much into health and wellness, and I'm very fit, and I even teach fitness. I pay attention to what my body tells me that it wants to eat, and I eat that. What movie do you like? What's it about? This is hard because, again, there are a lot of movies. What I just watched recently was the Harry Potter series. And when I first watched the Harry Potter series, I didn't like it because I had read the books, and the books were so good. The movies they didn't measure up at all. But I just watched the whole series, and I think they're just really beautiful, fantastical stories. So I really enjoyed the Harry Potter series. What news are you interested in? I don't really watch a lot of news. I definitely don't watch the normal news stations because I think they're very biased, and I do subscribe to some newsletters where it'll give me some updates on what's happening in the business world, who's taking over what corporation, what's happening in the market, and then I follow New York Times for current events. I would say the gun violence and gun rights is a huge topic in America right now, so I'm watching that. I guess I'm interested in seeing how that unfolds because there's just been so much gun violence and so many deaths and school shootings. So interested in seeing how we evolve in our gun rights. What did you do yesterday? Can you give your daily schedule from yesterday? Okay, yesterday was actually a more quiet, chill day for me. So I woke up, got ready, got the kids ready, gave them breakfast, made their lunches. I drove them to school. Then I went to the health club that I work at, and I taught a fitness class. I came home, I showered, I did some laundry, and then I did some things on social media. Then I picked up the kids from school. And then I made dinner. We made steak and salad. I folded laundry. And we all sat down and watched Jurassic World, which I didn't really like that movie, but cuddled with the kids. So it was a pretty boring but relaxing day. Not every day is quiet, so I enjoy those days. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? The first thing I do is I wake the kids up because they are not morning people and they need time to get up and wake up to start getting ready for school. So that's the first thing I do when I wake up. What do you do on your days off? On my days off, I like to spend most of the day doing nothing. But I'll usually find something fun to do with the kids, go on a hike, or I'll kick them outside and say, go play outside, and I'll stay inside and read a little bit. Or I'll make plans to go do an adventure. go to the pool or go to the lake or something like that. Do you have any bad habits? Yes, I do. I bite my nails, and it's a habit that I've had since I was younger, and I've been trying to get rid of it ever since and still do it. What actor do you like? I really like Jason Momoa. He is just so hot. He is just so attractive, and yeah, he's like in all these different movies. Aquaman, like he has such a range of characters. But yeah, I like him. And actress, I like a lot of actresses. Anne Hathaway is somebody I really like. I actually just watched one of her films from like 20 years ago. One of my favorite movies from when I was younger, called The Princess Diaries. It's just a fun movie, and she was really good in it. So Anne Hathaway is definitely one of my favorite actresses. What YouTuber do you like? I don't really like any specific YouTuber. I watch videos at random pretty much, like for something I want to learn or a speech that I want to see, but there's not one YouTuber I really watch. What are your interests? My interests are art. I work in a gallery and I enjoy putting on events. So I have a lot of interests. Dance, music, of course, all that stuff. What do you do when you're with your friends? Okay, so I spend a lot of time with my family, so I can't say I spend a ton of time with friends, but most of the time I will get together with a brunch or a lunch or something like that, and that's how I'll catch up with friends. What did you do last Christmas? Last Christmas, I actually did spend it with my family. I don't always spend Christmas with my family, but we drove to New Mexico. So I'm in Arizona. We drove 6.5 hours east to New Mexico and spent Christmas with my sisters, my 2 sisters, my mom, my dad, and my grandparents and the kids. It was really quiet, really relaxing, and nice. What do you want to do when you get old? I can't think that far ahead. I don't know. I want to do whatever I want when I'm that age, but I have no idea what I'm going to want when I'm older. What's New York like? So I lived in New York for about a decade. I think everyone should experience New York. I lived in the heart of the city for a couple of years. I lived in Brooklyn, and then I moved across the water to Hoboken, New Jersey, which is still urban like the city, but it's not so packed in and so, busy. So I enjoyed living in New Jersey more than living right in the heart of the city. And then I was able to get into the city every day pretty easily, and also much better for raising kids over there. So, but New York is so much fun. It's grimy and dirty, but you just embrace the griminess and the dirtiness of the city. The fun part is that there's always somewhere new to go out. There's always a different person to meet from different parts of the world. So that's what I enjoyed the most. I never had to go to the same place twice, but there's just fantastic places to go eat, to go out, a lot of underground places and speakeasies, and it's just fun getting lost in New York and just seeing what you find. What country do you want to travel to? Why? Bali has been on my mind, so Indonesia has been on my mind for a while. Thailand, so those are 2 countries I'd like to visit.
Question 1, where am I from? I am from originally Tyler, Texas, which is about 2 hours east of where I'm at now, Dallas, Texas. So I reside in Dallas, Texas. Do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. I'm actually the youngest of 5. So there's quite a few of us. The oldest is one of my sisters, and then I'm the youngest, the other girl, and then there are 3 brothers of mine in between us, 2 girls. So very big family. What was I like as a kid? As a kid, I was very different from how I am now.
I was a tomboy, so I lived out in the country in East Texas, as you would imagine kind of how Texas is. We had a creek in our backyard. Me and my brothers would go out in the creek and kind of just run around in the water, in the woods, and just kind of very adventurous, exploratory child. I collected rocks. I was really into rocks and crystals and things like that, and geodes. So that was kind of one of my main activities. I actually collected rocks. I had a huge collection. I was always into fashion. So me and my mom would always go shopping and look for really cool fashion outfits, which is something I'm still into. Also, as a kid, I did play soccer and I ran track as well. I did get awards for that, but I ended up quitting. I didn't stay in it. I got into modeling and acting and fell in love with that, and that kind of became my main focus. What I did for fun as a kid, what I did for fun, I kind of just like to play with my brothers and hang out with them. We played a lot of video games together. My mom had a Nintendo 64 that she let us use. She still has it. She won't let any of us take it though, although she doesn't use it. But I kind of just hung out with my brothers a lot. It was a very, very busy household. My brothers always had friends over, so I just kind of invaded the space as the little sister. I've never really been into being in clubs. I've always kind of been by myself doing my own thing. So no clubs for me. What sports I like? I don't really keep up with any sports, but I still do like track and soccer. I also love gymnastics. I love movies about gymnastics. I think it's really interesting, as well as ice skating. Probably gymnastics and ice skating are my two favorite sports to watch, just because it takes so much dedication to even get to the point to be able to compete in either of those sports. They're very hard and they're very beautiful as well. What people say about me. So I do ask people for reviews after I do a job, like my modeling and things like that. And I would say the most consistent thing that I get is that I'm professional and very easy to communicate with, very easy to work with. Foods I like. Oh my gosh, I am a huge foodie. Actually, my favorite food is sushi. I can eat sushi every day, all day long, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love it. But I also love breakfast food, like eggs, bacon, sausage, whether it's on a sandwich or a breakfast taco or something like that. Cereal also, just really traditional breakfast foods I love. Food that I do not like. I'm not a big fan of, I guess, basic American like lunches and dinners. Like I don't like hot dogs. I don't really like burgers. I do not like fast food at all. My favorite actor, I don't know if I have a favorite actor, honestly. I would say at least someone that I really admire just for the work that they do would be Ashton Kutcher. He does a lot of work with sex trafficking, and he's an advocate for sex trafficking, and he does a lot of work kind of not just advocating, but actually goes out and speaks to governments and the Supreme Court and tries to get bills passed and tries to help stop sex trafficking. So I think he's probably one of my favorites as someone that I just like admire what they do. My favorite actress, Angelina Jolie. So Angelina Jolie is, number one, she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful woman. But she's not just beautiful on the outside. She does a lot of work in other countries, especially Islamic countries. And she's there during the wars and the famine and things like that. And she does a lot of advocacy and bringing awareness to what's going on in other countries where basically women do not have the same rights as they do here in America. And I think that's wonderful. I think it's beautiful. And she tries her best to make a difference. My favorite YouTuber. I do not have a favorite YouTuber. I don't really watch YouTube. Because I grew up doing acting and I love acting, I watch more shows and stuff. So I don't have a favorite YouTuber at all. What is an app I like and what it does? So I have my own business, and I think my favorite app is QuickBooks, but it's QuickBooks Self-Employed. It just helps me keep track of everything that I do. It helps me keep track of my miles and kind of everything for taxes and things like that, so I don't get confused whenever tax season comes around. What news am I interested in? Honestly, I do my best to keep up with things that are current, but I think news can be really toxic, and I also think it's really biased. So I kind of just take the facts as what it is. There's not really much I can do about it, so I try not to put too much energy into it. I very much focus on things that are directly in front of me or directly affect me. I don't really like to pay attention to news. I just don't think it's good for mental health and your overall energy. So yeah, I'm not really interested in any particular news at the moment. How often do I eat out? Not very often. I like to cook. It's debatable based on who you ask if I'm a good cook or not, but I do like to cook my own food just because I like to know what's going into my food, so I make a lot of homemade meals. Am I careful about what I eat? Yes, as we just heard, I am very cautious about what I put into my body. Movie I like and what it's about. I love watching different movies, so I watch a different movie every single night. I don't ever watch the same thing, but I really like pretty much any Tim Burton movie. Tim Burton does like things like The Addams Family, Caroline, Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't have one specific movie that I love. I would say that's my favorite genre consistently, like since I was a kid. I always kind of liked those darker shows. I thought they were really interesting. My favorite drama, I think my favorite drama is probably Sex and the City, or like Gossip Girl, things like that. I'll go with Sex and the City because I watch it all the time. That's one that I do watch over and over. But Sex and the City, I like the show and I also like the movies. My favorite TV show, that's hard. That's really hard. Let's see. Okay, so one of my favorites, it's a little bit cheesy, but it's so good, is Vampire Diaries, which is obviously about vampires. And it's just like this feud between vampires and humans and like werewolves and things like that. It's interesting to me just because it kind of gets you out of the real world. I binge watched this show for so long, and it's such a long series, which I don't typically watch long series just because I tend to get bored. But it actually had an ending to it, which I liked. Yeah, Vampire Diaries I think is my favorite TV show. First thing I do whenever I wake up is make breakfast. That is the very first thing I do. I get up out of my bed and I walk straight to my kitchen and I make breakfast because I'm typically starving whenever I wake up. What I do before bed, I don't know. I guess typically, I would say I'm watching a show, or, you know, I'll clean my face if I haven't washed my face and done my routine. Nothing special, really. That's pretty much it. On my days off, I just relax. I am not very good at relaxing, so I do my best to practice relaxation. Or since I make my own schedule, it kind of varies. I'll get housework done, I'll deep clean my house or do my laundry. Kind of my days off are kind of used for housework for the most part, or like meal prepping or things like that. Most expensive thing that I've bought lately, honestly, this perfume. Probably this perfume. I wanted to try out this new perfume, and it's Marc Jacobs Intense. It's okay. I don't love it. I'm just using it until it's gone, and then I'm going to try something else. But I'm currently trying to find a new scent. I think that's the most expensive thing that I've bought lately. Yeah. Besides like a plane ticket. If I had $1 million, what would I do? I would invest. I would invest in rental property probably, and then kind of go from there. So I would take the money and I would invest it, and then I would have that residual income forever, and then I would have a million or a couple million forever. And then I'll be good. What is one thing that I want to do at least once in life? I want to try skydiving. I think at least once. I definitely want to go on a hot balloon at least once. I think that would be so much fun. We'll see about that one. Who is someone that I respect? I would have to say I really respect my mom. Her and I, we kind of butt heads sometimes, but at the end of the day, I respect her for how strong of a woman she is. She doesn't care if you don't like her or not. She will always do her own thing. I love that about her. But yeah, I would say her. What are my interests? I love nutrition. I love learning about it. I love working out. I love being in the gym. Oh, dancing. I also love to dance. What do I do when I'm with my friends? Me and my friends, I would say typically we'll either like go out to brunch or lunch or dinner and just kind of catch up. Or they'll come over and we'll just catch up and hang out. It's very relaxed. I'm not a partier. I don't really go out to a lot of clubs or anything. Neither do my friends. What did I do last Christmas? I just go to my parents, and it's about a 2-hour drive. So I just drive to my parents. I usually just stay overnight. I just go home for Christmas. We'll do Christmas dinner, open up gifts with my siblings and my grandma and everyone, and my parents, of course. We don't really do anything extravagant. It's usually pretty simple. What do I want people to say about me? I want to be remembered and viewed as a genuine person. Yeah, I think that's what I want. What is Dallas like? I always put it as a mini New York, and I say that because it's very fast-paced, as opposed to LA is not as fast-paced as New York. So there's a lot of business people, entrepreneurs. There's a lot to explore in Dallas. Anywhere else I'd like to live in America, and why? I don't know. I haven't found a place where I'm I would love to live here. I feel like Dallas is home, and I like that. It's a big city. It's a fashion hub. It's one of the primary metroplexes. You have Dallas, New York, LA, Miami. It's one of the main fashion hubs, which since I love fashion, that's good for me. It has everything that I need, and it's also not freezing cold. So I'm not sure, honestly. All right, any electronics that I currently want? I'm not a big electronic person. I would say the only thing I really want right now is a new computer, just because mine's so old and out of storage. So that's pretty much it. Am I saving money, and do many Americans save? So I always save. I think saving is really important because you never know what's going to happen. So I think it's really important to save. Also think it's fun because you get to hit a new goal, and you're new goal, new goal, new goal. I don't know if it's common for Americans to save. I know a lot of people that don't know how to save though. A lot of people in America, we're not really taught how to deal with money in school, or maybe our parents just didn't know how to teach us, but a lot of people don't know how to handle their own money, so therefore they don't know how to save, and they don't, and they spend everything.
I also have some questions from Yasu today that I'm going to answer. The first being, what did I do New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? So New Year's Eve was actually pretty fun. I had just flown back from California from visiting my sister, so I was definitely a little tired. My flight, it got delayed, and I didn't land until 2 a.m., which was really frustrating. But I ended up getting some sleep that day, and that night I went to a rave. It was a smaller one. It wasn't at a big venue or anything, but it was put on by this organization, and it was pretty cool. So it was a rave in a luxury car garage. So basically the venue was, you had the stage where the DJ was, and all around it were these luxury cars, kind of on platforms and stuff, which is super cool. And then in front of the DJ booth, there was a live wrestling ring, so they had WWE style performers go on with every set, and that was really cool because I'd never really seen live wrestling. I do the mixed martial arts club at UW, and like we box and we do some like Muay Thai and stuff like that. Also, I met some really cool people there. Everybody was so nice. And yeah, we were, I was also going to go down to the Space Needle in Seattle because they do like a fireworks show every year, and actually I've never seen it. I've literally lived in Seattle my entire life and I've never seen it, but it ended up being super foggy that day, so we just decided to stay at the rave because we were unsure if we like went to the Space Needle if we would even be able to see anything. And I'm glad that we stayed at the rave because there ended up being no view of the fireworks just because there was so much fog. So yeah, that was really fun. New Year's Day, I was still pretty tired. We tried to go to bed kind of early New Year's Eve just because it was not like, just because everybody was tired. So we were like, let's leave this rave early. But even so, I was, you know, it's not amazing sleep. We still stayed up till like 2 a.m. So I was pretty tired. I slept in a little bit, and then actually I met up with my friend to go to the Seattle Art Museum. It's free the first Thursday and Saturday of every month, I'm pretty sure. The Seattle Art Museum and the Seattle Asian Art Museum, which I love both of them. But it's a super easy bus ride from my house. So we met up, and because New Year's Day was a Thursday, it was free. And so we went down there and we checked out some of their new exhibits, and the Seattle Art Museum is like a massive building. I think it's like 3 or 4 stories, so there's definitely a lot to see, and that took up most of my day. And then unfortunately I was starting to feel a little sick, so I came home and I just kind of tried to sleep it off. I did start my new year by getting sick. I don't know if it was the rave or just not enough sleep or the travel, something like that, but I was pretty sick for maybe like 4 or 5 days right up until school started. So that was a little unfortunate. Not the best way to start my new year, but I'm glad that I got out of my way. I feel like everybody does get sick at some point during winter, so I'm glad that it was earlier and like while I had time to recover and not like while school was happening or while I had a bunch of work. But yeah, that was my New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It was pretty fun. I think pretty productive, like good way to start the New Year's. I wrote down all my resolutions and all that, so trying to stick with them. So far I've been doing a pretty good job. Yasu also asked if there's anything I want to buy, and of course there's like always something I want to buy. I'm pretty good at saving money and like only spending when I need it, but there are definitely like certain hyperfixations I get that I'm like, oh, I really want this, and then I have to wait a little bit just because it's expensive to like see if I actually want it before buying it. I feel like something that's been on my list to get for a little bit is some really good outdoor gear. When I was growing up, like my parents would buy all my hiking gear for me, obviously, because I was young, didn't have a job, all that. But now that like I'm in college and I'm kind of doing my own adventures, I'm really in charge of that, and outdoor gear is really expensive, at least like the kind that I want, like really high quality stuff. Like if you're buying authentic Gore-Tex and like waterproof and insulated outdoor gear, it can be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for like a single piece, which is a little bit out of my budget. Just like, you know, like I have like my expenses, I'm in college, I'm not working full time. But yeah, there have been some brands that I'm looking at. I'm trying to like see if it's worth it this year around. So I'm seeing how often I go out, how often I like go snowboarding and hiking and snowshoeing and all that kind of stuff to see if it's worth it for me to invest in pieces next year. Like if I'm going to be making this a regular thing, like winter hiking and like mountaineering and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely been top of my bucket list. I really try not to like subscribe to like trends and micro trends and stuff. So if there's something that I like and it's really popular right now, I definitely wait for a little bit just to see if I actually like it or if I'm just kind of being influenced. And that happens a lot with clothing for me. But yeah, again, I have like a lot of things on my list of like things I want to buy. Then you also asked how I usually spend my birthday. Honestly, this has really changed throughout the years. So when I was younger, I think probably up until the age of like 12, I would have birthday parties. So I feel like it's pretty common. I think one of my favorite ones is that we went to, like my family and I and some of my friends, we went to a glass blowing studio. We made our own ornaments, which was really fun. But yeah, it can be like when I was little, I feel like my parties were either like very like planned or they could be very chill depending on the year. So sometimes we would just like have a picnic in the park with all my friends. Like they would buy gifts for me and we would have cake and all that kind of stuff. Then I feel like as I got older, there were most of the years like I kind of just spent my birthday with my family, or like during the day I would hang out with my friends like on my own, and then at night like my family would have food together, and my mom usually bakes a cake. She's a really good baker, so that was always fun. And yeah. Oh, also another tradition for my birthday is we would always get sushi every year because I love sushi. It's one of my favorite foods. But it's like a little on the pricier side, so it was like, you know, not an everyday kind of meal. It was more for special occasions. So I'd always request sushi on my birthday. So whenever we were doing like a smaller celebration, like just with like me and my family, we would get sushi, which is great. Yeah, and then when I came to college, a lot of my birthdays were spent on campus just because, you know, if it falls in the middle of the week, then I have class before and after, and it just doesn't make sense for me to go home on my actual birthday. Even though I live pretty close to home, I would, you know, sometimes I would go home on the weekend and still do that celebration with my family. But like on my actual birthday, I'm really lucky to have like friends who like celebrate me, and they'll throw like little parties for me and like get me some presents, some cake, whatever, and we just have some time to celebrate, which is really, really great. I remember my freshman year, so my first year in college, it was like one of my favorite birthdays ever because my friends threw a surprise party. I had no idea it was coming. I thought I was just going over to my friend's dorm to hang out. And then like I walk in and all my friends are there and they're like, surprise, and there's like balloons and games and drinks and like cake, and they like got me flowers and presents, and I was so like overwhelmed but so happy. I was like, oh my god, guys, I'm gonna cry right now. So that's definitely one of my favorite birthdays. I think this year, one of my roommates and I have a birthday 2 days apart, so we might like throw a joint birthday party and make it kind of a bigger thing, especially since it's both our 21st birthday, which is kind of like a big deal here, just because like that's drinking age and like people like to party. So yeah, I think that'll be fun, and we'll see if we can actually plan it and get off the ground. Okay, and then next question is, what did I do yesterday? So yesterday I woke up early, and my roommate Lola and I, we went to go thrifting. So we went to the Goodwill bins, which is basically a big outlet for all the clothes that don't get bought at Goodwill, which is a thrift store. And then like it's priced by the pound. So we went there. I got some really cool things. I got some shoes and some pants and stuff, and it was all like under $20, which is amazing prices for clothes, right? And then we went to like a bigger Goodwill. We wanted to donate some old stuff that we didn't use anymore. And then we shopped around a little bit. I got some like essentials, like I needed more containers for like my kitchen and for prepping meals and stuff like that. So I got that, and then I went straight from there to work. So I had work from like 2 o'clock through 7:30ish. And we're super busy. So my main job is at the like UW gear garage, so we're renting like outdoor gear and like doing gear maintenance and stuff like that. And because it is the winter season, we're really busy with skis and snowboards and snowshoes. That's what most people are running right now, so it definitely keeps me busy. It was a long shift, but I really like my job, and I feel like it comes with a lot of perks. Like I'm able to rent gear for free, which is great, so I don't have to like buy my own snowboard or anything like that. But yeah, that was mostly what I did yesterday. Oh, and then I came home, and it was my friend's 21st birthday party, so we went over there and celebrated with her a little bit. And spirit was super high because obviously we love her, but also in Seattle, yesterday was a big game between the Seattle Seahawks, which is our football team, and the 49ers, which is the football team from San Francisco. And not only is it a big rivalry, but it was a really like important game. Because it basically has a lot of consequence for where we sit in the Super Bowl. And we ended up absolutely smoking the 49ers. So we did amazing, and everybody was like going out to the bars, and you know, you could see people like celebrating in the streets, and it's a big deal. I feel like Seattle isn't super well known for our sports, but when our like sports teams do well, we get super competitive and like super just like in high spirits. So that was really fun. And then that combined like with my friend's 21st birthday, it was a good night, high spirited night. Everybody was in a good mood. The last question Yasu has for me is, what am I going to do tomorrow? So Today I have work and I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna do some of my like homework and stuff like that. It's a long weekend, so tomorrow is MLKJ day, so we have school off, which is great. But I still want to like get all my homework done and just make sure that I get ahead of the week a little bit. Which leaves my tomorrow completely free, and it is so sunny. It hasn't been sunny in Seattle for a little bit, so some of my roommates and I are gonna go on a hike. Because I work today, I can go to the gear garage and pick up some gear. I think that we're gonna bring like a stove or something so that we can make food on the trail, but hopefully in the snow. I feel like snow and sun is so fun. But yeah, we're gonna go and do that. Hopefully it doesn't take all day, but even if it does, I wouldn't be mad. And that's kind of all I have planned for tomorrow. We'll see how much work I can get done today. If I can't finish it all, then after the hike, I'm going to have to do some more homework. But hopefully not. And I'm super excited because we're gonna wake up early, go out, spend all day there, and just kind of like have fun with it, because that's what vacation's for. That's what having a day off is for, just kind of doing what you want. So okay, that is all that I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and this is 英会話。
実践的な英会話を短期間で効率よく身につけたい方は、いろんなアメリカ人の生の英会話を学ぶのが一番です。英会話教材 This is 英会話では、アメリカ人約150人の生の英会話を紹介しています。概要欄に紹介していますので、ぜひ見てください。それでは次回をお楽しみに。